Name's Christine Mckamey. I'm a GRI 201 student, and I'm going to talk to you today about GRI and what a great class it is. I think a lot more people should take it if they can. So I'm going to talk about what we went over in class. We went over a lot of theories, such as the color line, and the color line is like talking about white space and black space and the divide between. Um, and we talked about Kurt race theory, which is when whiteness is normalized. We also we also talked about racial identity and development theory of racial identity, and we went over various different ethnicities and what that development was for them. We also talked about racial capitalism, and under racial capitalism there was individualism and institutionalism. We went into intersectionality, and underneath intersectionality are different domains such as like gender, like being a student, a professional, and ethnicity. So it's just like female, learning disabilities, things of that nature could be under intersectionality. We also talked about the um, micro, meso, and macro, and how those affected people within the communities. Um, we talked about case law and how important it was to analyze case law and to analyze your school material. And one of the case laws that really stuck out to me that were really important for us as a nation was Plessy versus Ferguson, and how it went into like affecting people's rights. And within the U.S. Constitution, there was the 13th Amendment of how slavery was ended, and then there was the 14th Amendment on civil rights, and the 15th Amendment, the Black suffrage movement. And then we also applied all of these theories to the different ethnicities that we went over in class, such as Black, Native American, Latino, Asian, and white. And we looked at all these different issues and how they affected all of our people and our communities as a whole. And across the board, I think it would help for different ethnicities to have more of an understanding of each other. And that's why I think this class is so important, because it gives you a different perspective of everybody as a whole. Key things that kind of like touched me in this class were when we talked about the white population. It was really touching for me to see the opposite side in perspective. Like, as a native, you always hear things, and you do see the color line in that divide often, but to see like their story about how they had to sit through class, and also see what our hardships were, and that was hard for them emotionally. That was really touching to me, because at one point there was a girl that started crying, and that just really touched me. And one of the other things that was pretty touching is when Jody brought that radical native Sam to come in and talk about his perspective of being native. Yeah, he went over some pretty cool, crazy things for self-defense. And he got us all really thinking too, on a whole nother level. And I think that this class is really important because understanding each other, because we all will be working together at some point in our lives. But me personally, as a social worker, like I work with all populations, and I care and have empathy for all populations as well, and that's super important for all of us as professionals to understand each other and where we come from and the history also, so that we can continue to move forward in a positive light.